the story of baby number 4, Kaylee May. I got some notes written down here, so that's why I'll be looking down. Okay, so it was... I gotta figure this out. Okay, so on November 12th, which was a Tuesday, at 12 p.m., my midwife did cervical and stress. I was 3 centimeters dilated, 6 and -1 cm. And then on Wednesday, yes, a lot of women say don't do this, but I did castor oil because I was going crazy. I was in so much pain. It was really hard to take care of my kids being pregnant, and I was already 3 centimeters, so I was trying to get things going. I took the castor oil Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock the runs started, which not fun at all, but it wasn't that bad. So also I started getting contractions also, and those contractions lasted right up until I had her. So I just called them Braxton Hicks because they weren't that bad. I went to the hospital Wednesday at 9 p.m. with strong contractions every 5 minutes apart. They were pretty intense, and right when I got to the hospital, they started slowing down. So when I got there, I had to wait for the student midwife to check me because, yeah, I had a regular midwife, and then the student midwife does like mostly everything. So yeah, she was the one that I had to wait for. So she checked me, and I don't think anything changed at that point. So she told me to go home, and she thought that I would be back later that night, or soon. She didn't think that I would go much longer. So my parents actually had my husband's kids from when we first went to the hospital, because we didn't know if this was it or not. So my parents kept the kids at their place, and me and my husband stayed at home, of course, with my sister, who was in the room with us to do pictures and video and stuff like that. Well, we only got like one video that was, I think, of her cutting the cord or something, but it was just mostly just pictures. And then Thursday morning, we were going back to my parents' house to pick up our kids because nothing happened that night. And my water broke as I was getting dressed. So we decided that our kids should just stay with my mom. And my dad, of course, went to work. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I get brain farts. I have like the most terrible memory ever since having so many kids. And sorry about the glare on my glasses. It doesn't look that good, but that's okay. Yeah, and then, hold on, I'm trying to read my notes right now. They're kind of weird. Yes, yeah, so my water broke at 8:30 a.m. and we were just waiting for the contractions to pick up. I tried to take a walk. I tried to, bounce on an exercise ball. I tried all sorts of things. That wasn't working. And with my son, who was my third, I remember that once my water broke and I was having contractions, I went to the hospital. They slowed down, and I ended up taking castor oil, and that got it going like immediately. So at 6 p.m. I took castor oil again, and hold on. And at 10:08 p.m. apparently, we went to the hospital because we were at home with my sister and watching Man of Steel. My husband was very disappointed we didn't get to finish it, but yeah, my contractions all of a sudden just started picking up, and it was like I had one contraction. It was like, okay, that was more intense. Next contraction was even more intense, and they kept doing that, and it really freaked me out. And then when I was having a contraction, she moved, and it actually felt like something popped or something. So I was starting to almost have anxiety attacks, and because before I did give birth, I had lots of fear and anxiety about it because of the pain. Um, yeah, so just trying to figure out all my notes here. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so went to the hospital. I don't remember what I was when she checked me though. But, oh yes, I do. I was at least 6 centimeters, and I think 75% effaced. And then I started to beg for, you know, medication because I was really scared of where the pain was going to go and stuff. So they were figuring out what they could give me, and we were trying to, I guess, get the best option. I, of course, wanted an epidural, but that, thankfully, I ended up not getting any drugs, and of course, I'll tell the rest of the story. Um, yeah, so once oh yeah, I made an agreement with the midwife, that I wouldn't get the epidural if I was 8 centimeters. So when they ended up checking me again, that was probably only an hour later, and I was 8 centimeters dilated, and I think 100% effaced, but I could be incorrect about that. It was like 4.5 months ago, a little over 4.5 months ago, so it's been a while. And yeah, so then they decided they would give me fentanyl, and so they were putting in the IV as I was having contractions, and that just sucked. And I squeezed my husband's hand way too hard that his wedding ring started to hurt him, but I didn't stop because I was in too much pain and I was scared of the needle. And then they put the the IV in my hand, and then but it took 2 tries because of my veins. I have terrible veins, and I always, with blood tests and everything, it's just really bad. So it took 2 tries for them to do that, and she had to, like, I guess, wiggle it around in there to try and actually get the vein. And then after they had it in, they started to hook up the bag of fluid with the fentanyl in it, and then I had to go to the washroom, so I just asked to go to the washroom, and then I didn't really get back into bed until closer to pushing, but I stayed on the toilet and just kept going through the contractions, which wasn't that long. I'm not sure exactly how long I labored on the toilet, but probably for half my labor at least. And then I got back in the bed because of severe back labor. So I got back in the bed just to, kind of get through all the rest of the contractions. And it only took a few contractions while I was in the bed, and then I got to push. And pushing was 4 minutes. Yes, I can't believe I remember that. 4 minutes of pushing, and she was out. I think I had 2 contractions in that time, I think, if I'm correct. 2 or 3 contractions. No, I think it was two contractions, and she was born. So it was a really fast labor, total of 2.5 to 3 hours, somewhere around there, and 4 minutes of pushing. So I don't have much of a labor. Well, I got a labor story, but it's not that long, so thankfully this won't be too long of a video. But yeah, that's the story, and she came out healthy. Actually, oh yes, something I should mention was when she was born, she would not cry at all. They tried to get her to cry. They even were rubbing her just to try and get her to cry, and she wouldn't. But now she's gonna cry, so I gotta wrap this up really quick. Yes, and she weighed 7 pounds, 10 ounces, and she was, I think, 20 inches or 20 1/4 inches long. Yeah. yeah, healthy little girl. And her name is Kaylee May. So, that's this video, and do like and subscribe, and I'll keep you updated on any other videos and stuff. So, bye.